Give me a second. I think I got everything together. Okay, so for those unfamiliar with my voice, first of all, thanks for being here. My name is Peter Mingles. Today is December 20th of the year 2012. For all those people that know my brother, he sounds just like me, but today's his birthday. Yay, Vincent! He's not on this call because they're decorating a tree and doing birthday parties. And yay, Vincent! Vincent, my little brother, is his birthday today. So if you talk to him, happy birthday, Vincent. So having said those things, we're going to get started. And when we're starting to talk about some stuff, I'm going to talk about the ad network. This is my, it's like kids. You can't say you have a favorite kid. Maybe you're not supposed to. But like we have a lot of products. We have LMS and we have Phase 3 and we have Phase 2 and we have all of the different products that we have. And we just recently pushed push button marketing out. And this one, though, is one of my favorites because we're going to talk about the Youmongus Ad Network. In regard to the Youmongus Ad Network, I got to share with you why it's one of my favorites. So in reference to why it's one of my favorites, I'm going to share with you this. I've got to grab my little doodling pen. My background was in sales and sales management, and I have always understood the power of networking. So don't worry about any of the stuff that you see on the screen right now. The power of networking worked a little bit like this. When I was in a customer's home, say for instance, when I started out, I was in people's homes or places of business all the time. I found myself to be a natural networker. And what I mean by a natural networker is I might be doing a presentation, and the gentleman I was doing a presentation for, maybe him or his wife, as I found out a little bit more about them, I found out that perhaps he was a plumber. And then lo and behold, whether through divine intervention or just dumb luck, or just a numbers game, the next house I would go into, or it seemed like the next house I would go into, the guy had a leaky faucet. And I would say, I just came from a plumber's house, and he's like right around the corner from you, and you have a leaky faucet. Would you mind if I called him and see if he can give you a price and come over here and fix his leaky faucet? And most of the other people would say, yeah, no problem with that. I certainly need that leaky faucet fixed. Whoops, guys, hold. I'm being interrupted by one thing. I'm going to be right back. Hold on. Stay right there. The interruptions of working from home. Put a headset. Like I said, the interruptions of working from home. I got my daughter home. She's bringing her friends over, and we got everything happening all at the same time. And I got to share with you, I love the background noise associated with people working home-based businesses because I'd rather be here than anywhere else. Okay, so back to this concept. So I was in a person's home, and all of a sudden, a little bit later on, they said to me, the gentleman had a leaky faucet. I said to them, I just came from a house. Joe, down the block, around the corner, you don't know who he is probably, but he's a plumber. And then I would be a little bit on the assertive side. I'd say, do you mind? I just came from his house. He said he was home. Do you mind if I call him up? Maybe he'll come over here, fix your pipes or fix this leaky faucet. And he would. And sometimes I'd pick up the phone right then and there and said, do you mind if I call him now before I forget? I get really busy sometimes. I might forget. And lo and behold, 30 minutes later, there's a washer on a leaky faucet and things are being fixed. And everybody likes each other and kumbaya, and I'm selling stuff and they're making friends, and I used to have a Rolodex of all the different people that I used to do business with. So if you were anybody, I found out who you were, and then I found out how I could help you, and I always knew somebody to be able to help somebody else. And you say the vacuum cleaner guy? You could be a networker from wherever you are. So in reference to that, I was always a born natural helper, network marketer, or networker, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I understood the value relationships. So I'm building a little foundation of knowledge here to tell you why this is one of my favorite products. Here's another little example. I learned a lot from being in direct sales. Matter of fact, you probably learn about life by being in direct sales with as much stuff as I've done and some of you guys have done as well. So if this is a home, and these are the steps of the stoop, and here was me, here's what I learned. I learned that the relationship that I had with the person that answered the door was way different than the relationship that I had, so we have a relationship right here, was way different than the second scenario, the relationship I had with the same person when I was not here anymore, but when I was inside. So when I was in the house, we even used to teach it in my sales training, S, S, B, C, Q. First thing you do is you sell yourself. So as I was on the outside, sometimes I never got a chance to sell myself. But once I was on the inside, had a totally different relationship with the gentleman or the lady or the family or the congregation or whatever it was that I was inside. I always had a better relationship. So this one always worked. This one was always not as good. If I ever had a choice of selling something, I wait until I got in and I sold myself. And for some of you guys, I know you're in sales, so I know you guys can hang with me with that conversation. So that's a really good thing. There are some other people that aren't in sales and just have no clue. And when I say that playfully and with innocence. They just don't know what I'm referencing, but the key is that you have to be in. Well, as a lead provider, I get phone calls every day from people from all different types of things. They find us on the internet, and I got a call recently from a gentleman who said, I sell heavy equipment all across the world, and whoops, hey, Ray's coming in saying hello, everybody, thanks. So we have, anyway, so back to this concept of we have, I got a phone call from a gentleman who's selling heavy equipment all over the world, and he called me up and asked me if I have any leads for that. And we generate leads. I have an autoresponder, of course. We have millions of names in my database. I'm sure there's some people in my database that probably need to buy heavy equipment, but that's like a niche market. Not too many of our customers that are looking for home-based businesses are also looking for, tractors and cranes and stuff like that. So usually I would say no. Now I knew that the relationship was everything, and that anybody that I spoke to, right, the 6 degrees of separation, anybody that I spoke to always was just a few phone calls away from something that I wanted, or maybe something that can help me or hurt me if I let it. So the reality is the relationship is everything. Everything is what the relationship is about, and that's why we do the stuff that we do with the lead management system and all the training, and we never shut anybody down, and we do as many conference calls as we do and all those things. It's the relationships that's everything. And relationship to the relationship that's everything. I knew when I would say to this gentleman, no, we don't do that, then that's where the relationship ended. And that was it. And that was it. But I said to myself, I have to figure this out. I got to figure this out. And the reason why I'm so excited about our ad network is our ad network helped me figure this part out. Because here's what happened. Relative to our ad network, we built something called Youmongus Ads. Now hang with me on this one for a second. This is a classified ad website. So in reference to the person that I just spoke to today, or that one gentleman, he was our trucks guy. So I said to him, well, I own an ad network. I can't really help you in what you're looking for specifically, but I own an ad network. And in the ad network that I own, our ad network is attached to all of our other ad sites. And let me post an ad for you at no charge, for free. And who knows, maybe I might be able to help you do something. You know, the world's a kooky place sometimes. Keep swinging at it, and you're probably going to hit something. And I said, besides that, our ad network is becoming more popular because the more ads we place in our ad network and the more sites we have connected to our ad network, the bigger and the better it gets. And who knows? And he said, you do that for me. How much is it going to cost? I said, it's going to cost you nothing. I understand that the relationship is everything, so it's not going to cost you anything. And he was very appreciative and very thankful. So I said, send me a couple of pictures. I'll write it up for you. And there's a couple of pictures. If we click on the ad, you're going to see the couple of pictures of this one thing. And he was on his way out of town. So I said, don't worry about it. Just give me something. We'll get you started. The relationship is important, and who knows what might be going on. Now, this gentleman's been doing what he's been doing for 40 years, probably has a sphere of influence. He's certainly an entrepreneur. I don't know about you, but as a network marketer, I love to work with entrepreneurs. And when I say as a network marketer, even though we're the leads provider, I still consider myself a network marketer. We have our Building Fortunes affiliate program. I help lots of you build your businesses, so I always consider myself a network marketer too. Even though I'm not necessarily building an outside down line, I throw myself in the same pile as all of you guys. So relative, and the entrepreneur being like, let's see what we can do to maybe help this country out a lot. So I just said, hey, let's do this. And he's flying out of the country for a couple of weeks, so I don't get a chance to give you the rest of the story, but I grabbed a couple of pictures from him. I put this up here. He called me like a stalker over the weekend. Hey, I want to learn a little bit more. He seemed like a nice guy, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to be able to maybe work together sometime in the future. He's 40 years in the business, which means he's at least 40 years old. Probably a little bit more than that. He's travels across the world, probably knows a ton of people. Probably is planning on retiring, maybe not doing that for the rest of his life. What's he going to do? Everybody needs to make some extra money or maybe do something. Otherwise, you know, guys, right? You retire, you're dead 3 years later, statistically speaking. So the scenario is that I figured, let me do something. So this helps Peter build a network of relationships of people. And I build a lot of my products, just so you know, so I can use them. Now, that's not narcissistic. It's not like I'm selfish. I build them so I could use them because I'm going to use it anyway. And I also build it because if I'm going to use it anyway, I know a lot of you think like I do. So we built this thing called the Youmongus Ad Network. Now, there were a whole bunch of things happen simultaneously on how we got here. We were working with companies that were asking their distributors to place ads to qualify for different things. I witnessed how the placement of those ads could build up the popularity of those websites to be in something of the top in the world. When you have 1 million people that are placing ads every day, the popularity of your websites become very popular. So I saw the power of that. And we did our push button marketing. Now, I'm not going to talk about push button marketing, but our push button marketing component has submissions to the ad network as part of the push button marketing program. So I wanted to make sure that we had access to more ad networks. So we started building them, and we build them, and build them, and build them. All right, so let me kind of stop for a second and just show you how easy it is for someone to place an ad in the ad network. And I'm going to wrap this around a story that just happened. So I was on the phone a little bit earlier before this call with a gal who she was working with another company that unfortunately went out of business. And I'm going to put her under arts and crafts, but I'm probably going to move her. And her name is Joette. So Joette, if you're listening in, this is all about you. I promised you I'd place an ad. You just didn't know I was going to place an ad as a demonstration on my webinar. So her name is Joette, and she's got a small business she's running. So I'm going to come back over here, and we're going to title it whatever I just titled it. I'm going to go quick. We're going to edit this later. But she says custom. We're going to make it custom made robes for preachers, ministers, and other. I'm using all the wrong terms. We're going to fix this. Don't worry about it. Every other religious organization. So I'm using all the wrong words. Don't worry about this at all, right? So there she is. And then what I'm going to do is I want to put a picture. So I'm going to go to my favorite place to be able to grab a picture, which was Google. And I'm going to find this guy over here. And we're going to save that picture on my computer where I usually save pictures. And we're just going to call this one Robes, R-O-B-E-S. And when we call this one Robes, I'm going to click on Save. I'm going to go back to publish my ad, and I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. Sorry guys, I'm just kind of like somebody chatted me something. We're going to go location, we're going to say North America, and we're going to put her name, and we're going to put her email address because I promised her I would do this. This is a nice young lady that I just met. She was a previous customer of ours. And when I say previous customer of ours, she used us very little. It was part of the package that she was working with. We gave her a lead management system that she never used. And then when I come in over here, let's see. I'm going to put in her phone number. Now leave this gal alone, right? Unless you're buying robes. So for all those people that try to, not you guys, but everybody else that might be listening to this later on, leave this gal alone. So we're going to come over here to pictures. Where are my pictures? We're going to come over here to robes. Buy all the robes you want from her. I don't know where. Oh, there we go. There's a little picture. And then let's see. We'll clean up the ad a little bit later on. But if I wanted to put a YouTube video, I could put in there. I'm going to go type in my little code. And when I go post this ad, if we did it right, there we go. So thank you for your little submission. And that was as easy as it was for me to be able to place an ad for her. So this is a gal that's kind of been down on her luck. She's been hit with the economy. She's been out of work. She's got an interesting entrepreneurial story, and she runs in a shop where they embroider robes. But literally speaking, she's really one of those case scenarios, tragedy of the economy failing, lost her job, has had a hard time getting herself back on her feet, and literally is just kind of struggling. And she called me up and she says, can I do something with the previous leads that I had from you before? I don't have any money to be able to buy anything else, and I won't get into the no money objection. But she just had some hardship issues related to the stuff, and she says, I'm trying to get myself back on her feet, and I'm a nice guy. And I said, why don't I do this? I know you might not be able to give us any money for leads, but why don't I do something nice for you? Oh, and by the way, just so you know, just because somebody says something initially doesn't necessarily mean that's the way it is forever. So I know I can get back in to a conversation with her, and if there's any money there, I'll find it. Remember, I'm the sales guy. So it's not like I can't get back in. So I said, why don't I just use the little ad network, and what we'll do is I'll be able to run an ad for you at no extra charge. And who knows, I talk about this stuff all the time. And by coincidence, I'm working with a company called My Covenant Love, which is a company that does social networking, and they do social networking in a lot of religious areas. So I talk to preachers and pastors and ministers all day long, and who knows what might happen. The world works in mysterious ways. Now remember, previously I had no sale, but because I have an ad network, remember, I'm using my name for now, but you could use your name too in just a few minutes. But I'm using my name for now because I have an ad network. I have a relationship with this gal. And if I would have said to her, just go to youmongusads.com and go place your ad, she could have. And when she does, what happens over here, this is the admin part. I would come in and look at my ad listings, and then I would go look at my approved ads, and I'd see the one that we did for her, and we'd say, no, I already know we did it, so I'm just going to go activate it. And the answer is yes. And guess what? If I did it the right way with the pressure of this, I'm going to come over here and just click on home, and there it is. There's my ad for her in this ad network. And it was literally that simple. So now I have an ad for her. I have a reason to call her back all the time. If I'm Peter Mingles, the sales leads salesman, I could always call her back, find out how things are going, find out referrals from wherever she is. I can also call my guy from all over the world. And if you can see this at all, you can see that, oh my gosh, what a great and a killer way to be able to develop relationships with lots of people. I am blessed, let's use the religious expression, I am blessed by the number of relationships that I develop with people that might possibly buy my product or my service. And I'm thinking like a network marketer relative to this. And I said, this was really kind of cool. So for me, now you can know why Peter Mingles is so excited about having this. Well, I'm going to divert for a second. When we started to build these, I said to my programmers, I want to learn about classified ad sites. So we're going to do whatever we have to do to build them. Well, a classified ad website, the way we built it, is a little bit like an iceberg, and here's the ocean. This is what most people see. So there's little eyes. Throw some glasses on this guy. So this is what most people see. They see the stuff above the surface. But there's a lot of stuff that happens below the surface. Search engine optimization, keywords, meta tags, links, backlinks, other kinds of links, cross links, links. And then we built another one. We said, guess what? Even though it looks like another one, there's still a lot of stuff that's happening below here on the surface. And maybe we'll build another one. And what we started to do is we started to test this. We started to build another ad network and another ad network and another ad network. They have different domain names. To the outside world, they're totally different. The databases and the back-end stuff are the stuff that we do to kind of link them all together. What we found was 1 + 1 + 1 didn't equal 3. 1 + 1 + 1 added to a lot more than 3 because they all kind of connected. And every time we placed an ad, bam, there it goes in 3 different spots. And then it was, let's do another 10, let's do another 15, and there we go. And we're building up this huge ad network, and what we're watching is organic traffic happening in places that we never expected, like all over the place. And entrepreneurs and people started to happen. Now I'm sharing with you this because, again, I wanted one. In the process of I wanted one, I'm a hands-on kind of manager, and I'm always working with my programmers on a whole bunch of stuff, and they wish that I wasn't hands-on because they catch all the mistakes that they make and all the things that aren't working. So that's the kind of management style that I have. So we're working and we're working and we're making sure we do database management, and we're dealing with security, and we're dealing with backups, and we're dealing with hosting and all those other things. And then I was helping a person do some placement in a retail store, and their sales reps were having an extremely hard time getting initial icebreakers into the retail stores. So I said, why don't you do this? Why don't you tell people you're calling up, you have an ad network, it's a killer icebreaker. Most of you can already see where I'm going with this. I'll run an ad for you if you want me to. The popularity of our ad network is based on how many ads we have, so I'll run an ad for you for free. And that gets you in. And then once you're in, you can visit the store, you can talk to them on the phone, you can tell them that you have a product that you'd like them to place on a shelf. Now, for some of you sales guys, you already know the rest of the story. You get in, you develop a relationship, you give something of value that takes a few minutes. Now that you have the relationship, if you go to the store, you can say to the store manager, hey, Freddie, can I put my product on the shelf right over there in the front? Like, can we take 5-hour energy and just slide it down so maybe they'll see our stuff? And the answer is like Freddie says, absolutely, go ahead. You want it somewhere else as well? I own the store. I own the store. By the time I'm done with this guy, I say this playfully, I own the store. And if he's got multiple stores, I'll own multiple stores. I have them sales reps selling for me as well. That's what business builders do. Business builders say, oh my gosh, I got the relationship. Watch else what I can do with it. So in the process of all this stuff, we built another ad network, and we built another one and another one and another one. And I said, this is too easy. This is insane. And then I digress. I go to jury duty. So I couldn't get out of it. Everybody tells me they can get out of it. I didn't read the news. I didn't read the part of it where I have to submit things 5 days earlier, get it in there so I can say that I'm an employer, maybe an important person. Can you leave me alone? So I figured I'd never been to jury duty before. I'm going to pay my obligation to society again, so I'll go to jury duty. I go to jury duty, and then, since I didn't read the front of the paper, I certainly didn't read the other side of the paper that says don't bring your cell phones in and don't talk amongst yourselves. Why not talk amongst yourselves? Because you might be tainting a potential trial later on. I didn't read that part. I also didn't read the part about phones, and neither did Heather. Heather's the gal who's sitting to the left of me just a few feet. Her phone's ringing like it's a slot machine in Vegas. And in reference to Heather, I hear Heather, because nobody else is talking, say to her inevitable husband, oh, the diapers, they're in the third drawer in the bedroom upstairs, right next to the whatever. And then the phone would ring again, and everybody's looking at Heather. Because we're in jury duty, you're not supposed to talk, you're not supposed to have a cell phone. Everybody's looking at Heather. And she's like, oh yeah, well, if you don't mix the rice with the chocolate pudding, Johnny's never going to eat it. So you're getting kind of clues. Heather looks like a mom. Who's this guy calling her? Phone rings again. And everybody's looking at her. She's like, go to hell, right? She's yelling at people. Go to hell, I'm a mom. My husband's watching the kids. Why are you people looking at me? And somebody says, well, you're not supposed to ring on the phone. She says, I don't care, I'm a mom, right? So picture yourself here. Think of yourself as a network marketer. Could this happen to you in the next year? Scenarios like what I'm talking about. And if the answer is yeah, it happens to me all the time, think this through. So the phone rings again. My eyes look at Heather. Her eyes look at me. Not in a romantic way. It's like the phone rings again. I'm like, oh shoot, Heather, you're in trouble. So I started talking to her, and I said, Heather, not for nothing, but you look familiar. I didn't care about the phone. I said, you look familiar. You look like the owner's wife at the UPS store. She said, where's the UPS store? I says, right near the AT&T store. She says, AT&T, I was just in there reducing my bill. So I'm a sales guy. So I'm not just going to leave it like that. I'm going to make an excuse to start a conversation. I said, reducing your bill. Is AT&T running a special? She's like, no. I had to reduce my bill because my husband's out of work and we're reducing our expenses. Now, did I say I wanted you to think of this conversation as if you're a network marketer? Because if you're a network marketer, you're saying, mom, young kids, husband, now out of work, reducing their expenses. Oh my gosh, ding, 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 ding. That's a lead. That's a lead. One that I don't have to buy from Peter. And Apple is popping up here telling me that I should update my software. We'll do that later on. So I could have said to Heather, Heather, I'm a network marketer, right? What else would I have said? Heather, I'm a network marketer. And, oh, we have a wonderful product that you could buy or sell, and gosh forbid. And for anybody that understands the rest of that conversation, if the 50 other people hadn't figured out how to get out of jury duty, they certainly figured out how to get out of that room. I could have mentioned fire, bomb, and they wouldn't have left. But if I say network marketer, they're Splitsville. That's the way it works, guys, if you haven't figured it out. Why is that? Oh, the reason why that is because you let anybody brand themselves that probably shouldn't be branding themselves. So anybody that has a microphone thinks that they need to be talking about network marketing, and that's why most people don't like network marketing. Have you ever heard those people on YouTube videos? Oh my gosh. But anyway, I digress. So instead I said, I don't think I'm going to do the network marketing thing. I think I'm going to say, Heather, you said your husband was out of work, right? She said, yes. I said, I run an ad network. How about you give me his contact information, or I get your contact information, and I'll run an ad for him. We have a jobs placement section, and we have like lots of these things. Who knows? Who knows? If he's been having a hard time finding a job, maybe I might be able, maybe, just maybe, no guarantees, maybe I'll be able to do it. And then I have a relationship with this new friend, Heather, who has these 2 young kids and a husband who's struggling, trying to figure out what to do with the 2 young kids, where she'd rather be staying at home. And if they worked with me in a home-based business and they were local, and I was able to use the ad network to be able to start the relationship, the ad network is worth every penny that'll ever give me, because no matter what's going on, it's a great and a killer recruiting tool. So then I just said, that's it. I spoke to one of my programmers and I said, that's it. Can't stand it. I'm the only one doing this. I got to let the sales guys have it. What about my customers? What about my customers? Could they use this as well? What is it going to cost us to build one of these things? So we went through the little scenario of what do I think? Well, I knew I had to come up with a setup fee. And I'm going to be talking to you as a business owner right from now. As a business owner, if someone said to me $500 out the door, I'd say $500 out the door to have a fully functioning website that I can just plug into and I could start running ads as easily as you just showed me. Piece of cake. Here's the check. Here's my credit card. Tell me how to get started. I don't have to worry about learning it. I don't have to worry about doing it. I don't have to worry about hosting it. None of that sort of stuff. I'm going to get it. $500 for a setup fee. Done deal. If you would have said to me $5,000, I would have said, I got to think about that one. I know it's worth it. I just got to figure that out if I really want to put $5,000 on a credit card right now for an ad network. I know I could make it work. Guys like me always make that stuff work. But yeah, $5,000's a lot. $1,000, piece of cake. I do that anyway. $1,500. I don't know. What's the bridge? What's the gap between it gets into think about it? I have to kind of like, let's do it anyway. And then I got to really have to make it work. And I said, you know what? $500, totally fair price for a setup. We do everything. Domain name, hosting, database, security, back-end stuff. We even load it up with over 150 ads. So when people take a look at it, it's already a done deal. Already done. And I said, we're going to have to do some stuff with hosting. So $40 to $50 a month would be totally reasonable. Creating, hosting, managing, maintaining, upgrading, servicing, all that sort of stuff, totally okay. And I said, you know what? Everything that we do is going to have phase 3. I'm a phase 3 fanatic. It's one of our products as well. Couldn't do the business without phase 3. Phase 3 sells for $19.95. A lot of our customers are already using phase 3 for $19.95. So I says, you know what we'll do? We'll just throw on an extra $10 and we'll give them the phase 3 for $29.95. I'm sorry. We'll give them the ad network for $29.95 per month. So they have a setup fee, $29.95 a month, and they get phase 3. So if it's a new person coming in, they pay the setup fee for $29.95 a month. They get the hosting for the ad network as well as phase 3. And then I said, we have a lot of our customers doing this stuff, so let's reduce the price down to $299. So for the setup fee, $300. $300 setup, $29.95 a month. And then Vincent, my brother, said, what if somebody wants to do it all at one time? And I said, well, let's figure that out. So literally, this is the way my pricing structure works sometimes. I said, well, if we're going to do $300 for a setup fee, and it's going to be $30 a month for 12 months, that's $660. You could see the discount right in front of you, $500 total for the whole entire year. So we said, you know what? If somebody wants to buy the whole entire thing for the whole entire year, it's only going to be $500. That's the $299 setup and all the hosting plus the phase 3. If you start to think it through and you start to look at it, you say, well, if I was spending $20 a month anyway on the phase 3 times 12, that's what, $240. So for another $200 and some odd dollars, I'd be able to get the ad network and everything it's a no-brainer decision. The most important thing, though, for me, is the opportunity for anyone to be able to use this as a killer icebreaker, as an unbelievable relationship builder, and no one ever said only you on your team can use it. If you're sharp, you let everyone on your team use it for the same reasons that I did, and you build up your own ad network. Now, of course, I would imagine you would place your own ads in your own ad network. That would make sense. Of course, I think instead of saying no to someone the next time, you would say yes to them sometimes and be able to build a relationship and be able to work it from there. And of course, you would be able to follow up with these people, even those that may not say yes to you initially. You'll always have a reason to call that person back. So let's use our construction gentleman who sells the heavy-duty equipment. I'm going to be able to call him back every other month if I wanted to and say, Frank, how you doing? Yep. Same trucks, or what are you doing? You got some other ones? You want me to do another one for you? Yeah, Peter, sure. I will always have the ability to call that guy back. I am offering him something for free, and the relationship is everything. So for guys like me that see this right away, many of you are already 300 steps ahead of me. If you wanted to buy one, call either me, that's my number, or your PM marketing rep, or you can go through the website networkleads.com, or down on the bottom of your LMSs, there's a button now that says Buy the Youmongus Ad Network. So what happens when you do that? Well, we call you up and we find out which domain name we're going to get for you. So whichever one you do, the $299 and the $29.95 a month, or you do the $500 package all at once, either way, we call you up and then we install you, and we made it so it's super duper simple. What can you do with it? Well, you can change a lot of things if you wanted to. On the ad network, this is what we put. We put Youmongus Ads. That's called the title. But you have the categories you can change. You have the subcategories you can change. You can charge for ads if you want to, or give them away for free if you chose to. You can determine which kind of widgets if you want. You want it on the side over here. There's a widget for a translator if you chose to. We have some guys that say, can I do it in another language? Sure, go for it. And also you get a chance to decide whether you want to share your ads with the rest of the ad network to increase your popularity, and if you want us to share our ads, hidden or not, with yours so you increase in popularity. So it's so much more than just an individual classified ad website, because you're taking advantage of all the cool things that we do in the past, all the things that we do in the present, and all the things we will do in the future. So I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to open this up to see if anybody has any questions on anything. Now I have to share with you this. When I open you up, I will be unmuting your microphone. So if you muted your microphone, I will be undoing that, maybe. So have your hand somewhere close by where you can mute yourself out if you know you have some background noise. So I'm going to unmute everybody out. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So we're all unmuted. Anybody, any questions, anything? Anybody, any questions, anything? Anybody, any questions, anything? I know some of you guys are still muted out. Anybody, any questions, anything on the ad network, how it works, how you'll use it, how you'll build your teams, anything? Yes? You mean your classified ad website? It could look exactly like this, or it could look exactly not like this, because, correct, you can have different themes, different colors. You can change the categories. It's your site. This is one that, correct. It's your site. It's your site. Let me use it. No, it could be as big as Craigslist if you wanted it to be. So no limit to the ads. You determine the content, and I'll give you one example that happened a week or so ago. Had a nice gentleman. He was an older gentleman who is not very internet savvy, and him doing anything like this on his own would be impossible. But he saw it right away as well. He helps wounded war veterans find jobs. And he said, Peter, could I use this for that? Could I have wounded war veterans post their resumes, and can I have employers go look? And I'd say, absolutely. You may not want to see anything about whale watching or robes being created, but you might want to just limit it then to several different categories. So is that hard to do? Well, right over here on the admin, I'm going to go to the add categories, and this is where you'd be able to create a new one or delete one. Now, I won't delete any of them right now because we just built this, but if you wanted to delete, say for instance, health and fitness, just push that button and it's gone. If you wanted to create a new category, you do that and it's right there. If you wanted to go over to, let's see, settings, and you wanted to change the site name, right over here is why it says Youmongus Ads, right over here. So if I wanted to change that, I change it. If I wanted to pick a different theme, like with different colors or a different layout, I'd be able to do that as well. If I wanted to, scroll down a little bit, set a time for the ads to expire, I could do that as well. If I wanted to set the theme, that's what I would do right here. If I wanted to run ads, now this is something that I don't usually talk about, but there's a lot of money here. If you had a Google AdSense account and you wanted Google Ads on your classified ad section, you could make money by having Google Ads on your site. Or if you wanted to put a banner for your own stuff. The sidebar is where you change the different things, like for instance where we had popular links and searches. When we come back over here, see search and popular links, I determine what I want on my right hand side. So, and I could determine that right at will. You move them from one side or another. Here's the available ones and here's the ones that you'll display. If I wanted to scroll down a little bit more and have PayPal, what if I wanted to charge? I use an example. I am helping someone develop something called the Dash Radio Network. So it's a blog talk radio network that I'm helping someone to develop, and we'll have, of course, a classified ad site. So as she develops her population or popularity, and people want to pay her for advertising on her radio station, she could have added value by having a classified ad site and put them in both places. If you had a radio station that you were running ads on, and then you had a ad network that you can also have those print add-ons, do you think you might be able to charge more for that ad? The answer is yes. You're really only limited. This is the entrepreneur in you having the opportunity to really go out there and make it happen. Now, for some people, this stuff flies straight over their head. I might as well have been talking Chinese during most of this call. Very few of you on this call are like that. But if I were to talk to the rest of the people in your downline, this stuff's like flying over their head. They can't figure out how a 1995 investment would be an investment in their business as opposed to an expense. So it's flying over their head because most people that do network marketing are not entrepreneurs, and that's the problem. But with this, if you wanted to charge on PayPal, you could. Over here is advanced configuration. This is where you tell us whether you want to share the ads or whether we want to share the ads back and forth. So you have 100% control over a lot of the things that you have, and it's certainly user-friendly. So when we go to the ad listings, you can even change the ads if you wanted to as well. So like I said a little bit earlier, I just kind of threw that ad up for that girl, Joette. If I wanted to come in here and edit it, I can just come in over here and edit it. If somebody had, let's see, we'll go back to the one over here. Let's do this. If somebody had placed an ad, like while we're on this call, somebody would be able to place this ad while we're on this call. So you can do a whole bunch of really cool things. And Joette is right here on this call. She just came on. Hey, Joette, if you are listening in, I promised you I was going to run an ad for you. So we did. I put it up right away, and there we go. Anointed by Joe. There's your little ad, and we'll get the. I'll clean it up. I just was showing these guys the mechanics of how it's done. But we put up a little ad for you. It's going to be shared in all our networks, so we can help you get your feet off the ground with your business. Okay. Anybody else? Any other questions? Anything? Anybody else? Any other questions? Anything? Anybody, any questions, anything? Questions going once? Comments going twice? Alrighty, so I'm going to mute us out for a second. I am going to, bear with me one second, I'm going to mute us out. I'm going to stop our little recording.